Mango!
That's a guanábana!
Hey, all right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
We are celebrating today.
Celebration time.
Keep going.
Come on.
A new book is coming out.
We got celebration.
Happy to the series, new book. It's called Picking a Town, Finding a Home, and Creating a Budget in Costa Rica. What's great about this book, it is the perfect companion to the escape manual because we talk about finding a place to live here, the cost of rentals, budgets. The biggest question I get asked, can I live there on my budget? Well, I'm going to answer that question for you because we have 3 categories. We'll have them for rent, and we're also going to have categories in case you want to buy property here.
I have $3.50.
Well, I have the perfect place for you, sir. We cover all sorts of topics. Budgets, cost of living, places to live. Do you want to live at the beach or in the mountains?
Lifestyle.
Lifestyle, that's a big one. Everybody who lives here, every expat will tell you, you need to change a little bit in how you live if you want to live here and not complain all the time.
How's the weather?
The weather's wonderful, except when it's rainy season in the cloud forest. Then it's a little much. We're going to cover all that in the book. Should we get to it? Did I even say what we're making?
I don't know what the hell you're making.
I don't even think I said what we're making today. We are making Wish It Never End Mango Cobbler.
Wish it never ends.
Wish It Never End for a number of reasons, Rob.
Okay.
Because it's dessert, and nobody wants dessert to end, unless you're a sociopath. And another reason Wish It Never End, because I got to thinking on how great the days are here, and how wonderful it's been since moving to Costa Rica. And how when I used to work in the office, I used to think a lot about those days ending, but not anymore. We have wonderful times here, we do all these excursions, and we have all these friends, and I'm going to name a dessert after all that. I have 3 mangoes, cut up, seeded, and in it I have 2 tablespoons of lime juice and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And we're gonna mix all that together and pour it into a greased dish. We'll put that aside. Now we're gonna do the dry ingredients. We're gonna take the cup of flour, dump that in there, half a cup of sugar, put that in there, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. We're gonna mix that. Remember, Rob, when we used to always say after we got home from work, we just wanted the day to end?
Yes. I do remember that.
I used to come home and say, I'm just clocking out. That's it. It's the end of the day. And I thought, what a crazy way to live, right? That every day you just wish that day to end. It was one of the reasons that we decided to move. And a crazy thing happens when you consistently are depressed with your job. It's like you're living in a fog and you're on this foggy highway and you can't pull over and you can't stop, you don't know what's behind you. Now things are different and people often ask me, when did it change? And I think it changed for me when we had this idea about Costa Rica. I stopped listening to all the negative people around me. And I just said to myself, I'm going to believe no matter what anybody else says. And I started to repeat that to myself. I'm going to believe no matter what anybody else says.
And you finally started listening to me.
And I started listening to my husband. And if you say that in a Jersey accent, or maybe in a Brooklyn accent.
Hey, I had enough of this place over here. I need a new place.
Too much, Rob. Too much.
Oh, this is crazy over here with this.
That's too much. Let's keep it as a Jersey accent. And if you keep reminding yourself of that, soon that foggy highway that you're on, you're gonna see a taillight. And you're gonna feel so relieved because you know there's somebody in front of you and eventually you're gonna get out of this fog. Next step is we have to put
More
butter in. A whole stick. Okay. I'm gonna mush all this together. It's supposed to resemble course meal.
Course.
Course meal.
What's a course?
I'm not quite sure what that is, but that's not important because
I know if it resembles course meal, we don't know what course meal is.
this is what we do back in Jersey. You know, in Jersey, when we had a school trip in high school, we went to the Exxon refinery. Sorry. Where'd you go on your school trips in Brooklyn?
School trip? Brooklyn? Are you crazy?
We went to the Exxon. Now that is hardcore Jersey if your high school trip is to an Exxon refinery. Okay, we're gonna take this half a cup of milk, pour it in, and we're gonna mix that thoroughly. I think that looks pretty good.
Who was the kid that went to my high school?
My husband thinks Tony Danza went to his high school.
Tony Danza!
Not when, and it wasn't when Rob went there. So I don't know why he makes such a big deal out of this, but I'm pretty sure he didn't.
Lafayette High School is a
I
picture
don't-
of him on the wall.
Rob, on Wikipedia, it's,
Tony Danza!
know what's even stranger about this is that if Tony Danza did not go to Lafayette High School, then why was there a picture on the wall? I don't know.
It's all we got.
All
All
you have-
we got is Tony Danza. Don't take it away from us.
Everybody loves Tony Danza. Pour this all over this delicious mango. Before I put this in the oven, I'm going to show you so many wonderful memories that Rob and I made. And I believe after you see it, you'll understand why we're so much happier living in Costa Rica.
Days like these, for days like these, for days like these, I wish they never end. I wish they never end. I wish they never Days like these, for days like these, for days like these, for days like these, for days. These are the days of the open highway. These are the nights of the cloudless sky. These are the times that we've always longed for in our hearts and in our minds. These are the days of the open highway. These are the nights of the cloudless sky. These are the times that we've always longed for in our hearts and in our minds. Days like these, for days like these, for days like these, I wish they never end.
From my kitchen to yours, wish it never end, mango cobbler. To your adventure.
Wish they